We're all set.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Jovan. Psychic Frank's Mystery School is now in session. I love the background Jovan gave me today. Yeah, he surprises me. Um, yeah, this is Psychic Frank's Mystery School. I'm Psychic Frank and your host. And if you want to email me anything, psychicfranks11, psychicfrank11 at gmail.com. So today is the 7th of February, Saturday, and there's so much I want to cover, and I'm not going to definitely get to all of it, but it's the key things. Pisces people, this is the last few days of Saturn in Pisces. Neptune's already in Aries. That hasn't happened for a good 150 something, no, more than that. Yeah, Neptune's got like a 156-degree orbit. So I think it's been like, I don't know, 100, at least, I can't do the math now, No kidding. When you heard people say I was beaten up by a math book, I really was. I was a toddler. How old are you when you learn your math, first grade, second grade? Well, I couldn't get it, and I was beaten up severely by my wicked stepmother who was mentally ill. And then her sister came in and pulled her off of me, and thank God I'm still alive today. So when I say I was beaten up by a math book, I'm not pulling that out of thin air. But I heard Robert Downey Jr. accept award the other day, and he held it up in his academy, whatever it was. He held it up to the sky, and he said, "Here's to a rotten childhood." So if you're a kid having a rotten childhood, there's gifts there, man. Yeah. Victims don't heal. And speaking of victims don't heal, Saturn uh, is in Pisces ruled. Saturn is in Pisces ruled by Neptune. Neptune's no longer in Pisces and it's in Aries. And so while Saturn's finishing up its last few days of being in Pisces, that won't happen for another 30 years. The shadow of Neptune in Pisces is victim consciousness. And we talked a lot about that in my past shows about the shadow of Neptune. So we're not going to repeat that today, but you can look at my past shows and I talk about Neptune shadow is victim consciousness and a lot of people get upset when you point out victim consciousness. Like I said to this woman, a stranger on the street, she was telling me something, and I said, "Well, victims don't heal," and she got really upset with me. You call me a victim? And I said, "Well, no, technically, but I'm just saying this is happening for you, not to you." And then as I was crossing the street, I said, "And don't watch my shows; it'll only piss you off more." But this is Yogananda. He's a beautiful man. His energy is so palatable for me. And I remember in Hollywood discovered him because he died, I think, in the 50s or 60s there. And Yogananda, I have it written down here somewhere. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I read it on my last show. Uh, Paramahansa, I can't pronounce it in Indian, Yogananda. He said, well, in a nutshell, don't depend on death to liberate you from imperfections. You're exactly the same after death as you were before. Nothing changes. You only give up the body. If you were a thief or a liar or a cheat before death, you don't become an angel merely by dying. If such were possible, then let us all jump in the ocean and now and become angels at once. Whatever you have made, this is so important, whatever you have made of yourself thus far, so will you be hereafter. Period. And when you reincarnate, you will bring that same nature with you. To change, you have to make the effort. This world is the place to do it. I have a neighbor who's a sweet guy, just happens to be gay, and I think he's exactly the same age as me or a little younger, and he's not healthy. His health is in decline. And the other day, I was talking to him in the park across the street from my house, and he said, "Frank, the cancer. I went to the doctor, and my cancer is even worse." And that hurt because he's not a client of mine. He thinks I don't know. He thinks I'm a charlatan or something. He, uh, and I said, I'm not going to repeat his name, but I said, you've got to stop going into this dumpster diving into this old emotional garbage. God forbid you wouldn't go into a dumpster to make tonight's dinner. Don't go on into all this emotional mess behind you to come up with today's reality. Oh, he wasn't smiling. And then I said to him, nothing changes when you die. You just give up the body. You're exactly the same. Oh, that really finished him off. I haven't talked to him since, because I'm avoiding him and he's avoiding me, and besides, it distracts me. I need all my concentration. So that's a beautiful and liberating, but a lot of people have a lot of beliefs are just thoughts you keep on thinking, and thoughts can be changed. And a lot of people run around like you only live once. YOLO, YOLO. Greg Bray, no, what's his name? The guy on Let's Make a Deal, Brady. Brady. I love that guy. He's like not real. He's so talented. And he's always saying to people on his show, oh yeah, you only live once. No, 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 we don't. It's easier to die than it is to stay dead. That's why, as I said, you want to go for the mystic. The Christian mystics. There's a book that just came out. I just started reading it. It's a fabulous book called Dazzling Darkness, and the guy did a really good job. His name is oh God, I forget his name, but I'll remember it last time. It's on the tip of my tongue. I could see it, the book, but I can't make out his name. And it's a story of all these contemporary and saints. And I'm reading, looking through, it, and I remember that scene with Cher and Nicolas Cage. Is it Moonstruck? The Moonstruck movie where she slaps him and she goes, "Snap out of it." And she goes, "Miracles don't happen. They were in the old days." No, no, no. There's contemporary mystical experiences happening right now in real time. If it bleeds, it leads. If it thinks, it stinks. With this Christian nationalism, you know, man, that rubs me the wrong way, because this country was founded on freedom of religion. All religion, all religions are free here, not just Christian national. They say, well, this is a Christian nation. No, it's an asshole nation. Man, just blows my mind. I just made this note here, and it says Donald Trump says the three, according to Donald Trump's own words, he couldn't get into the country. Says extraordinary talent. He has that. He's everything he touches dies and gets destroyed. Professional special Professional specialized vocations. No, got none of them. Exceptional students. He's not one of them. You're a student all your life, by the way. You never graduate from Earth School. And when you do graduate, you're a mystic. And then you don't have to come back. People have sex on the other side, by the way. Death is good. Death is when it's time, it's right. It's as natural as being born. Uh, Ben Franklin said, ignorant people never remain free. Democracy cannot survive too much ignorance. So this all started with W. Bush and Cheney. I love Barack Obama and Michelle more and more every day. But when he first got into office, we had gone into this quagmire, war of choice for oil. When the towers went down, that was an inside job. No, no two ways about it. And Cheney went to the White House and got somehow in his wheelchair in the middle of the night got Barack Obama to um, uh, not persecute him, because when he was running for president, Barack Obama said when he got in office he was going to persecute the Bush administration for war crimes, and somehow when he got elected he sent Rahm Emanuel and Nancy Pelosi. He didn't have the courage to come out there and say it himself that they weren't going to do that, and the reason was there was no money. We were as close to a depression as the major depression, the Wall Street crash in the 20s. It was like the Bush Cheney administration left us teeter tottering on a major depression, not to the likes they haven't had for. So you can see where Barack Obama, gave in to the pressure, and he was young. He was so young, so green, you could plant him. He was still Barry a few years before that, so that he had just getting used to being Barack. Who knows why the hell he did what he did? But what I love about him is he gave Bayvec. He loved public access TV. It reached the voters. He said, "I'm a populist." Populist. Uh, uh, Opposed to the perceived elite. He was a populist. He believed it, and so he gave Bayvec back then. $90,000 was a lot of money, and he gave with his stimulus package gave Bayvec for SF Commons because they got the contract. They bullshitted City Hall into giving them the contract, and that's why we got the phone service and all this equipment. Well, of course, that was a long time ago, and everything's been. But now we have no equipment. I mean, we have no phone service. Barack would not approve of these, Mayor Lori. Um, there's a thread, a silver thread. Some call it the silver thread, the iron thread. Um, there's this indestructible thread. My guides told me, my guides told me, Frank, there's this thread, but it's a substance that isn't even known on this planet. There's so much universal knowledge that we'll never know while we're incarnate in a human body. But he said, but there is this indestructible thread, and I was watching just a week ago. Our mayor, Lori, and he was on the microphone. Every time he picks up that microphone and talks into it, he digs this hole for himself that's deeper and deeper and deeper. So I try to avoid it when I pick up the remote and change the channel whenever I see him approach the podium, because so anyway, I changed the channel and I said, God, what a dipstick. And then a week later I'm watching TV, my YouTube, and it shows me reruns of shows like Jimmy Fallon and the Colbert Show the night before. So I'm watching clips of the Jimmy Fallon show from the night before, and he's referring to somebody, some zombie from the Bush regime, and he said he's a real dipstick. Said that's not a word you hear every day. So I started laughing, and I said, "Wow, I just called our mayor a dipstick," you know. So anyway, I said after I saw the mayor on TV, and I just said, "Jesus Christ in heaven, help me." I'm a spiritualist. I'm wearing Shiva right now. The mystery school I went to was like this woman who spent she's a white woman from, I guess, of European, just Northern European descent, and Norma Trongali, rest her soul. Um, and, oh, I'm sure she still hasn't reincarnated yet because she's been around me every now and then when I need her. But anyway, she studied at this ashram in India, a Shiva ashram, and I believe I've had so many experiences. So Shiva is dancing. He's dancing in this vortex of eternal vortex there, and he's dancing on the head of ignorance. It's this little child there, this baby, ignorant baby there. I think that's so right now. So anyway, I'm I was feeling very bewildered, and I shut off everything. And Gabby was taking a nap, my parrot, and I put my hands on my desk, and I just said, "Guides, please help me." I'm at my prime at 77. I'm a cool permanent 124. I weigh in at, And there's never a difference, maybe an ounce or two above or below, but my average weight for the last few years has been 124. I'm a vegan. I do like, I use cannabis, but that's about it. And no pharmaceuticals at all, because my liver will well, I can't even take an aspirin. My liver is so sensitive, but it's in good shape. My liver rules my life. So, what I'm saying is I lost my old train of thought. So I was bewildered, and I argue with my guides all the time. They tell me to do something, and I tell them, no, no, I don't want to do that, but I always do it. So my guides were telling me, get on the computer, Frank, and look up about how London Breed left the city. Because I needed validation because every time, because right now there's this cult that she's gone. Who knows where she is now? I think she's still, she's got her eyes on. We got to stop her. She's got her eyes on goddamn Sacramento. God blessed Sacramento there. But anyway, so I finally, after arguing with my guys for a few minutes, I said, okay, okay, because I believed if there was anything on the World Wide Web that had anything to do with to validate my hunches on how dirty and corrupt London Breed's reign was, it would have been discovered years ago and common knowledge. But to show my guides they were wrong, I typed it up and oh my God. She left the city. It's almost $1 billion worth of debt. Because every time I see Laurie, and I say every time he opens his mouth, he's talking about why he can't do all these things because the city's in such debt, and he's sort of blaming it on the shutdown, the COVID shutdown. No, no, honey, this is London Breed. Uh, uh, her husband, her brother got put out, a murderer she got him out of jail. She needs to take his place. Let me compose myself now because what I was reading was making me sick to my stomach. I had to actually stop. It was nauseating, and yet if you mention her name in City Hall, they throw you out. Your microphone goes off. You become persona non grata. I've been persona non grata. I mean, I'm allowed in, but as soon as I get to the microphone and mention London Breed, my mic goes off, and if I don't leave, they'll escort me out with the guide. I've been thrown out of better places than that when I used to drink, but I've been sober now for 50 years. So anyway, it's appalling that let's get. I'm tongue tied here because it's like I'm gonna start talking in tongues. It's so odd. I made some notes here. I made some notes. See, because we're coming up on the 17th to a solar eclipse in Aquarius, 27 degrees Aquarius. So it's all about truth, justice, bottom up, not trickle down, power to the people, and both spiritual activism are key words. What's going on? So, okay, a few days after the 17th, 18, 19, 20, 3 days on the, it's like 420, 411 on, uh, oh no, that 411 on the 13th. Saturn leaves Pisces. Like I said, this is the last few days of Saturn Pisces and will enter Aries. And then on the 20th, right, a few days after the 17th solar eclipse, 6:09 a.m. here on the West Coast, Tuesday, it will join Neptune, 0 degrees, 44 minutes Aries. This has not happened for thousands, thousands, and thousands of years happened. And it's rarity is uh, power. Rarity is potency. And this is really be aware now. You want to definitely get rid of any kind of lingering victim mentality that might be hovering around. And it's interesting. I like mine was interesting. A Yogananda quote was, "Forgive yourself for not knowing earlier what only time could teach." Wow, that just totally blows a fuse in my brain. Forgive yourself for not knowing earlier what only time could teach. Yeah, I got that in my 70s now, but it would nice. I probably wouldn't have purchased it if I had read it earlier anyway, because I think I think free will is an illusion, but I'm not going to get into that today. No revenge because people who are naturally ugly inside end up destroying their own lives. Yeah, so I was thinking earlier, you know, if you have future dictionaries, if you look up the word motherfucker, it'll have Donald Trump's picture right next to it there. And if they decide, I was like, he wants an airport named after him. Yeah, he wants name the airport motherfucker. That's the same as Donald Trump. So you could imagine people going, "Yeah, could you pick me up at motherfucker airport? I'll be coming in at flight." So or a motherfucker. We'll keep the Trump motherfucker, Donald Trump. Well, something like that, because the words synonymous, two words spelled differently mean the same language. Yeah, Donald Trump is the word. That's it. A lot of white people, hear black people hear that term, MF, MF, MF. But now we all know. Now we know what a motherfucker is. Patty LaPone, I love her. They put a microphone in her face and she asked her why she won't perform at Lincoln Center or all these, Carnegie Hall and the Trump Kennedy Center. And she said, because he's a motherfucker. So, it's not like, your kids are hearing something they never, they explain to them Nazis are motherfuckers. We've got a racist Nazi MF. Well, that's about it. And uh, and you got to make jokes of this stuff where you go nuts. Yes. So on the 26th, Saturn entered Aries of January, and it'll stay there until 2039. Neptune rules the media. As I said, Barack Obama will not be happy, Mayor Lori, if he found out that you somehow twisted Bayvac's arm and got them to cut the phones off and not put them back, because you knew that if you got in here and you'd have no trouble getting elected. But you weren't ready to take the chance to sit in this very chair with Juvan, my sidekick here. He just left here, who's only got 2 more months left here, thanks to you, you son of a bitch. You could subsidize Bayvac. You know that, you motherfucker? But I'm going to keep my cool here. See, I rehearse with my parrot because if I get excited, my parrot goes nuts, and then I realize, okay, you got to get back to your center, Frank. So before I walked in here, I said, okay, I'm not going to lose my center here. There's a book here. It's a few months old called Snafu by a history of greatest screw ups, Ed Helms. And it's just came out last year, and he explains what a snafu is, SNAFU, and it came out around World War II. So snafu is an acronym that stands for quote unquote situation normal situation normal colon all fucked up. Situation normal, all fucked up. Yeah, so what's going on now is City Hall's politics, because we're a micro for the macro. So our corrupt, there's something fishy in Denmark. Something smells like, I was walking down Market Street the other day. It was like just off of one of the side streets of Market. And there was this guy, had to be in his 40s, overweight, totally out of shape, drunk out of his mind, laying there, uh, literally a filthy, pathetic mess. And as I walked by, I got a whiff, and he smelled like a carnivore's bowel movement. Yeah, when I used to live at the asthmatic garrison, we had a big house, and people would stay over. Her friends would stay over, and she'd say, "Oh, if you go to the bathroom in the morning, light incense, because French shit doesn't stink, because vegan shit doesn't stink. It has like a pungent, healthy smell to it. That's all there is to it." Yeah, I tried for years to be vegan, and it's such a habit to eat meat and go off with dairy was the toughest. But getting cancer was the best thing that happened. I was a guy 20 something years ago, and my doctors, I saw the liver, everything about it. I was not, it was like a hair away from, and I immediately got it, and I just totally made all these dramatic changes in my life. And but see, you could either think yourself well or you could worry yourself sick. I'm a transformational. When I first had my first little shingle out, my invisible shingle, I called myself the transformational healer because I realized after the transformation, I left my body. I believe I died, and they gave me a choice to come back, and that's why I'm here. Oh, Shiva. All right. Yeah, and um, it's the only problem with or challenge rather. I don't like the word problem. The only challenge with being empathetic is that you feel sorry for absolute assholes. So I feel sorry for Lori, Mayor Lori. You know, I pray for you. I pray for your ignorance. I think you should definitely go to one of these private prisons. I know they have AA meetings there, or some. You know, you're everybody knows what you look like, so you couldn't just go to a normal AA meeting. I don't go to AA meetings. I'm not a joiner. AA says you don't graduate. Well, fuck you. I graduated years ago. I haven't been to an AA meeting. I'm not going to pollute my consciousness, listen to the drunkalogs. You know, I don't drink because I want to live, and uh, and uh, uh, and just go, you know, or go anonymously. You know, wear a wig or something. Go as a hippie, but sit behind a mirror there. You know, somehow get your ass in a H hospital institution meetings and go and listen to the stories. Many, I think over 75, maybe 80%, my guides are telling me of the people in real big trouble doing life sentences did it under the influence of alcohol. It was an alcohol thing. You know, alcohol is a killer. It destroys incomes. It destroys families, and it's the worst thing you could put in your body. The whole world health organization has no. I used to say like a half of that much alcohol in one cocktail for and then 3 glasses of water. Now they're saying no, not even that. No amount of alcohol. So you know, yeah, people like you're kissing your ass now, the wet brain drunks who don't want to live anymore. You gotta love life so much it makes you cry. Do you understand what I'm saying? People don't love life anymore because they're being forced to grow up. This doesn't happen. Trump did. Bush and Cheney lowered the bar so low. This isn't original. It's been said before by brighter people than me, but they lowered the bar so low. Ooze, scummy, diseased ooze like Donald J. Trump could ooze under it. And you know the KKK. I was listening to the Ramones the other day. The KKK took my baby away. I love that. I love the Ramones. Joey Ramone. You know, well, the KKK is taking babies away. Yeah, they're the ice people. The ice crumb. I like my ice crushed. You know, now's when we hear in the media. The media is bought and paid for by corporations. This is it. Barack Obama loved cable access to me. He was spitting in your face, goddamn Mayor Lori. Snap out of it, you motherfucking bastard. Get the phones turned on here, you son of a bitch. Okay, I lost it again because it's so important. We're this close. I mean, I got it written down now so I wouldn't have to miss the words for it. We are on the verge of fascism here. People don't have a voice, and you're taking our voice away. I don't know who, you whore. Who's paying you, you motherfucker? Who you already? Your mother's got a million, billions rather. You know what are you doing this for? You know, get back at your mother, show her you're just as big a cunt as she is. I don't understand why you're doing this, but I'm not even being nice to you anymore. I live in Hayes Valley, and they tell me every time I come down there to get some fresh air, they go, "Hey Frank, you just missed Mayor Laurie. He was walking around here with his bodyguards." So I was down there the other day looking for him, and I guess he was on his way because the bodyguards were already clearing out the place. And I said to this, as stupid as I was, I just had to hit up grass before I left the house, my apartment. So I walked across the street, and I said, I heard that there were these ambassadors going to be talking to people on how to improve Hayes Valley and get that Nazi outdoor bar from torturing us with this loud music. loud. It's not even music. It's this monotonous boom, boom, boom. Excuse me. But that's what I got to live with, by the way. From Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starts around now early afternoon. Yeah, and goddamn Lori, man, you should have to live with. You got some weird comment. You got kids, man. You got kids. You've been pimping. They see this shit. I don't know. You never find a Jewish person in AA. I have a friend who lives in Canada now who married this alcoholic, and he would beat her. He lived her. She's got a stroke now because strokes comes from. It gave her a stroke from being living in fear. Will give you a stroke, and I begged her to leave him. And no, I said, get to an Al-Anon meeting. You're what we have now in Daniel Laurie. The Al-Anon people would be call him an enabler. He's enabling alcoholism, and he's so fucking stupid. He don't goddamn understand it. What did they teach you in that private school you went to? I don't understand this. See, Mars, woo woo, is conjuncting Pluto. This is what it looks like. You know, Fearless Frank. Yeah, Mars in Aries is about a spiritual identity. I have a new sense of spiritual identity. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. This is happening for us, not to us. And you've got to talk about this, and this is very important. Nobody's mentioned about the nuclear disaster. It's going to happen. It's not imagine if it's ever going to happen. It's when it's going to happen. There are what 90, I think it's 95, I don't know how many, enough nuclear bombs on this planet to destroy it to smithereens. And if one goes off, who knows? They all go off, and if one goes off, it's going to be worse because then we'll have a nuclear winter, and we'll all die a horrible death of starvation. Might even get into cannibalism. Who knows? This is, yeah, old Frank's, raining on our parade. No, the mayor wants you to go out and get drunk, and don't think about it. You got kids, man. You want them dead? You want them to die in a nuclear war? Get the phones off you. You're an unfit parent. Your kids should be taken goddamn away from you and put in a foster home until you wake up. What's it gonna wake to slap the shit out of you and wake you up, you stupid bastard? And your bodyguards. So I went up to this bodyguard and I asked him, "Oh, are you the ambassadors?" And I could see the gun, and I realized right away he was no ambassador for goodwill. He'd shoot anybody who confronted the mayor. So we're living already, and I don't know what the mayor's connection is to corporations, but they somehow put the kibosh on Bayvac and got rid of. They say John Bayvac says how high. So when Comcast took our shows off from being tagged, they didn't fight it at all. I'm not going to get into that. The past is over. If else, forget it. And, but I don't believe Bayvac had a chance in the world. That's what it is. See, everything that City Hall's been doing, these mock, these I wrote it down, these mock meetings, sham meetings, where London Breed would have all her people there with the cannabis thing after it was legal. It was all about. She even said, "This is a city of and prouder. This is a city of where you pay to play." London Breed actually said that. She also sat on front of City Hall and said she was against harm reduction. Educated people. You go on the computer, it's all there. All these doctors and people, intelligent, educated people are all about harm reduction. I talk about Scott Wiener. If he had a matching shirt and sweater, he could be he could make a living doing parties as Where's Waldo. Yeah, when kind of 2015, when Prop 215 to legalize cannabis was going on, there were like 50 or 100 of us, various activists, actors of love, and many other people were there. And I remember getting ready to go into that high school on 16th Street across the street from Dolores Park. There were like six buses showing up. On my last two shows ago, I said Scott Wiener rented a bus. No, he didn't rent one bus. He rented a fleet of buses. I guess you could call 6 or 7 buses a fleet, where he went to the new Chinatown, I guess, out on the avenues there, and filled it up with all kinds of Chinese people. I guess hop in the bus, give you $20 to go down to Dolores Park high school there, and protests against cannabis legalization. So this is who your best friend is now, Scott Wiener. Show me your, I mean, Lori, Mayor Lori. Show me your friends. I'll show you what you are. You two are like that. And Gavin wanted to homogenize San Francisco. The only reason Gavin Newsom just showed up because Donald Trump, the fascist, threatened to put his pivotal ass in jail. So then naturally he got his ass all his pearls in a knot. And now everybody now he's got snap out of it, Fred. Snap out of it. Okay, so Mayor Lori, we have power now. Mayor Lori, stop saying that you're a victim and San Francisco is suffering from. No, we're suffering from Mayor Lori, Hurricane Lori. I looked at. She says her nothing makes sense. That's why I stopped reading. It says her and her husband's net worth is $400,000, and yet there's all these donations to her for $1 million here, $1 million there. I think she goes to the Cayman Islands. I think that's why she's partial to Maui, because I don't think she has a Swiss bank account. um, she'd be too much a novelty in Swiss. Black people who go to Switzerland, strangers come up and say, "Can I touch your hair?" They don't even know what black people feel like. But so I think she's partial to something's going on there. As I said, I don't know what it is, but it smells to high, like that guy, the homeless guy who, man, I walked by there. He smelled like literally a meat eater's bowel movement. It was horrible. Okay, so where's all this energy? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I went over that. I wanted to go through. This is such a momentous event coming on 3 days after the Aquarius full moon. So check out where 27 degrees Aquarius is on your chart. And then I realized now this is such a rare and potent event with this Aries energy. I'll talk more about it in 2 weeks when I'm here. So I went through all these people in the news, especially with the fascist regime. Stephen Miller, Capricorn rising, Neptune in Capricorn in the 12th house, retrograde. This just validates he's a reincarnated Nazi. Um, yeah, these people are born that way. To teach us these lessons. I think God has to reach into the bottom of the barrel with a glove on and pull up these toxic leech. You can't. I have more respect for a leech in these people. So anyway, where's all this? Well, yes, Aquarius now is 6 degrees away from his Jupiter. So when Stephen Miller gets in front of the Nuremberg trial, uh, Neptune, Saturn will definitely be on his sun, on his Jupiter this coming year. Yeah, before the year's over. This time next year, Saturn will definitely be on Stephen Miller's Jupiter. That happens every 29 years. Oh, no, no, not Saturn, Pluto. Pluto, no. Saturn in Aries now is all happening. Oh, in his money house, possessions. Oh, opposite, he's a Virgo. Oh, Stephen Miller is a Virgo. Ah, see, sometimes they're so into perfection. Like, what do they call themselves? The master race. They don't forget they're working on a perfect mess. It's considered a master race, the masturbation race. Now, remember that woman years ago, the black assembly woman who she got thrown out of Washington, D.C. because the health general, she took the job of, I haven't met the right man yet. Uh, when Gonzalez, baby Gonzalez was taken away, she was the health director. Well, anyway, this black woman was the health director before her, and she mentioned masturbation would be a good thing for children to do, would avoid all these diseases, all teenage pregnancy. Oh, they threw her ass out of Washington. They didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to hear that. So Stephen Miller, all this year, the Saturn energy with Neptune is directly. Oh, now listen to this. Neptune and Saturn will be 00:44. Um, uh, and his sun is 00 Virgo 46. So Saturn's Libra rules his uh, ninth house. So this is in his eighth house, but not really. It's within the same house. It's in the same house, eighth house, but the house of life and death, other people's money, and the second house is you, lovers, possessions. So this that's going to be something to him having yeah, because the opposite of Aries is Libra, not Virgo. Right now, what's been going on, he's had Neptune in opposition and Saturn in opposition to his sun. Yeah, the opposite of Pisces is Virgo. And then for, oh yeah, ACO, Alexandra Ocasio Cortez, all this, by the time the next election rolls around, the Pluto will be really close to her North Node and yeah, and I think she's going to possess a whole lot more power than Jupiter is in lead Cancer now, but in a few months. Oh, another big deal that's going on. Oh, I almost forgot this. Um, uh, on the 6th of next month, April. I have it right in front of me. Uranus finally leaves Taurus and goes into Gemini, and here we have it. Uranus goes from 27 March, April. Okay, see, Uranus is uh, direct now, goes direct in a couple of days. So we're going to have from, okay, Uranus goes direct on the 4th of 2 days ago, a few days ago, this, just Wednesday, a few days ago, Uranus went direct 27 degrees Taurus, and it's going to go 28, mostly all of March, and then from 28 to 29 in April, and then the end of April, 26th, Sunday the 26th, Uranus goes into Gemini. Big shift. So get used to spontaneous, unexpected things. I wrote something interesting here about that. That oh yeah, Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. Yeah, that's you hear that, Lori? You hear that, Mayor Daniel? I was trying to be nice to you, trying to think you had a sense of humor. I'm not here for I'm not you remember Joe Pesci. You think I'm amusing? Yeah. No, I like people think I'm amusing, but I'm fighting for your democracy, for your kids' democracy, you stupid motherfucker. What happens when you choose this authenticity over tradition, expansion over comfort? You grow, and when you grow, you shed. We're growing and we're shedding people like Daniel Laurie and whatever cahoots he's up to with these big corporations. Most people are saying, well, thank God we have Laurie now, otherwise ICE would be all over us. No, he's just postponing the inevitable. We're shedding our outdated identities in the emergence of a more aligned self. And we got this guy who's friends with I'll tell you, cannabis. I made some notes about it, but do yourself a favor. Scroll down on the computer about um, harm reduction and how many people, cannabis harm, not just harm reduction, cannabis harm reduction. Okay, we only got 10, 15 minutes left here. I'm gonna shuffle some cards. Okay, I got carried away. I don't know. I used the F bomb so many. This might not even get out there. If it passes the censors, I'll be grateful. If not, then I'll see you in 2 weeks. Well, I guess it won't get aired. But I had that stuff just came out. I'm sorry, it had to be said. When I see all this stuff, what's going on now, and then all the network news, we see these anchors every day, and we think, oh, they're our friends. They're not going to say shit. They got jobs. They got families. They're not going to. They don't love democracy enough to join us in the ranks. They just light over all this stuff. Now, if you want to hear democracy now, you got to get on the computer and you to really hear the real poop. All you're hearing is regurgitated bullshit now, and this is scary now because it's the authoritarians are taking over now. The Nazis are they're killing, they're dragging plainclothes people with masks and guns, are pulling people out of their cars and killing them, shooting them in the head, and we're losing democracy, and we've got an asshole son of, once I heard this woman. I was at a cannabis place doing readings, and she was at the table next to me, and like 4 or 5 times I heard her say her ex-husband was an asshole. So I finally turned around and I said, around every human being, around every asshole is a human being. And that shut her up. So, I get you're a human being. You're not as bad as London Breed. You're just stupid. You're just ignorant. You're conscientious stupidity. It was just conscious ignorance, and yeah, that's you now. You know. I think either that or I'm giving you more credit. If you know what's going on and you're choosing, then you're terrible. Then you're worse than anything I could have called you today. If you know what's going on, if you know this is all about money, because keep in mind, Daniel Laurie does not give one shit about your health. He has dollar signs for eyeballs, a cash register for a brain. He doesn't know anything about spirituality and about how cannabis is enough of a psychedelic to get people to snap out of it and break out of habits. Even rehabs frown about, saying cannabis is a healthy herb. George fucking Washington said plant it and plant it everywhere. It's only politics. Mayor Lee, God bless her, of Oakland, was asked a couple of months ago. They threw a microphone in her face and asked her about cannabis something. And she said it should never have been legalized in the first place. This is all Richard Nixon. Tricky fucking Dick Nixon. And we got a mayor who's right up Nixon's ass. He's standing on the shoulders of Nixon, Nancy Reagan, London Breed. We need to go and stand on somebody else's shoulders and get the hell off our back. And let me cut the cards now and pick some cards for you all. Yeah, no, I was trying to kid around with the mayor, and no, fuck it. No, I'm not. He's got blood on his goddamn hands, and the stupid son of a bitch doesn't even realize it. Look what he's doing to Baybeck, the last SF Commons. Barack Obama would spit in your face, Lori. I hope somebody's a friend of his and says to him, get your ass down there, give Bayback whatever money they need to hire back everybody they laid off. But he's afraid maybe he'll piss off his rich friends. I don't know. But I'm gonna pick some cards for you now before I go. But please get excited, get involved, get involved, get involved. That's James Brown would say. There's so much misery around, and so much kids and animals suffering on the streets, and I can't walk to Rainbow Grocery and back without my heart aching. And I say 3 times, Christ will give us strength so we won't lose heart along the way. Christ will give us strength so we won't lose heart along the way. There's a rhythm. Before the heart is even conceived, there's a rhythm. They can pick up on these instruments now. Before there's any physical, there's the heart will boom, boom. And then the first organ to get solid, or, tangible is the first cell there. Human cell is the heart. So the heart's there. So now the opposite of Aquarius is Leo. It's time for us all now to listen to our hearts. Don't listen to your brain. The brain is the caboose. It doesn't create it. It's a wire. It doesn't. They believe the brain dies when you die. That's wrong. That's what medicine's all about now. They don't believe we're on an endless journey through eternity. Okay, let's pick. So let's tune into your heart. Get into that beat of your own heart like I'm doing it. Yeah, you'll stick out like a sore thumb. Screw them. Okay, before enlightenment, chop would carry water. Before enlightenment, chop would carry water. Bless what you have. Don't focus on every because an avalanche will happen. Alcohol will only exasperate any situation. Here's the Blessed Mother, the Queen of the Angels. We're going to have a miracle to get rid of these nukes. We're going to have divine intervention, the higher intelligence. I think that's what third eye, that uh, intergalactic. It was made by higher intelligence. It was not a common three-eye atlas. Yeah, I think that was definitely the more. There's many more. There's a cavalry of them. I think what's going to come over real soon is a cavalry of these benevolent higher intelligence to help us cleanse the earth of these ridiculous. We're just become a nation of snuff, a world of snuff queens. They outlawed snuff films. There used to be pornography where people used to be able to kill people. Like Lenny Bruce said, dying is the best rush of all. That's why they save it for last. But thank God that they people actually there's a horrible there's people from all over come to Earth School. We get the Donald Trumps, the Marquis de Sades, the Stephen Millers, Mother Teresa, Jesus, Mary, Krishna, Shiva, oh Shiva. Okay, what we're afraid of now is the devil. Everywhere we look, we only see everything that it seems overwhelming now. We seem hopeless. That's why I'm saying, no, shed that with that last. There's always a real punch at the end of something. The last little bit of this Pisces energy now. Shake out. No, I'm not a victim here. You rue the day you did this to us. You should have dropped that idea. They said when you get a bad idea, a self-indulgent idea that's going to hurt others, drop that as fast as you would a stick that turned into a deadly snake, because you're reaping karma you don't even wanna. Mayor Lori, you can't. Well, I didn't know I had kids, and no, your head of your kids now would be better if they became potheads right now. Hopefully, one of your kids will become a drug counselor. But as it's going now, those kids should be taken away from you. You're an unfit parent. Yeah, I said that. Fuck you. Okay, this is what's going on for us. This is what's going on against us. Uh-oh. This is what's going on. This is what we're fearing. This is what uh, we got going on for us now. Saturn and Pisces. About ready to join Neptune and Aries. Saturn is making things real, like with Donald Glory and all these things to say, are not real. And cannabis is good medicine. Herbs are good medicine. The pharmaceutical industrial complex is probably giving, I don't know, how much money can they give Lori? But they're definitely influencing them. Those are the influences that are behind cannabis not being harm reduction. We could get these same people that were here when London Breed sent that sham meeting at the federal building. Oh, they had made their mind up way before they walked in there, and they insulted them. There was full to the rafters of people who had gotten out of this abyss they had found themselves in, and yet this son of a moron we have here, this ignorant son of a bitch, Daniel Laurie, um, he doesn't want to hear that. He knows it all. He knows it all. He's got money. That's all that counts. Should fucking choke on your money, you son of a bitch. Yeah, we got some. What I'm giving you now is knowledge. I'm cutting through all the shit. It's like when when Bush and Cheney would do shit. All of those horrible people, that W. Bush's cabinet, they would literally, Boehner and all those guys would pull out their little silver flasks and chug down whiskey. Now Boehner's a big cannabis grower now. He's in the cannabis industry. Remember Boehner, that son of a bitch, an alcoholic. Now he's sobered up now and is into, all these people now. Alcohol kills, and every time this moron mayor we have is like, yeah, go out and drink, ruin your liver, but go home and beat your kids up. Their kids are watching you. Shut up. They're stupid. They'll forget it. No, 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 no. You got a lot to learn, Daniel Laurie. I'm all for, like, let's wash it all under the bridge now. Let's live and let live. Have your people call me. I'll come to City Hall. You come to Hayes Valley. We'll have a session. Leave your bodyguards the fuck on the street because I don't want guns in my apartment. I said it all. I guess that's about it. I got 5 minutes here. Let me see. Thank you for listening to me. Aries is all about I am. Uranus moving direct pretty soon. One of the themes of Neptune in Pisces was globalism, and now that Neptune's in Aries, it's all about spirituality. Uh, it's about the youth. It's about educating. They're telling me right now, I'm getting this message about, you're a lost cause, male Lori, but your kids have hope as young as they are. Everything you're doing, they'll realize, God, my dad was a real jerk. And you got to live with that. You've got to live with that. Oh, yeah. And then another big thing I want to mention that's very, very important is the north node is the way out. South node is redundant. And it's like, it's lessons you've learned, but it would be redundant to do it over again. It's not like a wasted house, a wasted energy. It's you've learned so much from that. It's time to take that into the north. And what's going to happen, there'll be a shift of the nodal axis and it'll go 3, 2, 0, and then it goes counterclockwise, you see. So it goes from the beginning of June, starts off June 3 degrees 36, retrograded. Then at the end of June, it's 1 degree. And then starting August 2026 first, the north node goes 29 degrees. Oh, yeah, the north, this thing on the 17th is going to conjunct the United States of America's moon. Our moon is in Aquarius. I almost forgot that. Our moon is uh, United States of America. Where are we? Well, I can't find it here. Yeah, our moon, 27 degrees Aquarius. Yeah, and this full moon, this new moon, rather, on the 17th, and then, and then, as I said, then the nodal axis will be 29, 27. It'll be right on our moon. That's a real big thing. That hasn't happens every 18 and a half years now, every 18 and a half years ago. So the north node in Aquarius will be 2710 on, what did I say there? August, uh, 20, August, September, North Node 27. Here we go. 27, right around the 23rd of October, 2026. The North Node will be on our moon. And for the United States of America, it's in a 3 personal year, and 3 and 1 is 4. So that'll be a 4 year for us as the United States. And at that time, Pluto will be 6 degrees away from. Um, oh, well, there's something else there. Oh yeah, Jupiter by then will be firmly. Jupiter goes into Aquarius, into Leo rather. It will leave Cancer and go into Leo on the beginning of October. Oh no, no, no! Oh, Jupiter will be in Leo long before that. As a matter of fact, Jupiter will be in Leo, leaves Cancer and enters Leo April, May. Jupiter enters Leo on the 1st of July. So the year, months before a Jupiter return, you want to make a lot of room for all the gifts Jupiter's going to be giving you. And Cancer people now, you got a good couple of months now. Remember, thoughts are cell tissue. Watch your words, get involved, as James Brown said. Uh, face our let's not let our mayor get away from lying to us and blaming everything on the COVID shutdown. No, this is London goddamn breed. Hurricane London Breed. Like I said, there's so much on there. Just get on the computer and it's like, and mention and then go about what she says, what anybody said about, because when you read about how many people, how many educated people, and what they say about how cannabis harm reform is the answer to it, and then we got a man who listens to like the likes of that moron I mentioned, where's Waldo guy? Yeah, Scott Wiener. You know, and he's in Sacramento, by the way. Sacramento, yeah. So we got to stop that motherfucker from getting re. Okay, as I said, I can't. I hope some of this gets out there. I love you. Okay, goodbye. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you for sticking around. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. See you later, guys.